Sideloading is all over the news these days. Let's talk about it. Platforms like Apple and Google have placed restrictions on this practice for years, and now laws like the Digital Markets Act in the EU and lawsuits like Google v. Epic are changing everything. But wait, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. First things first, what even is sideloading? It's when a user installs an app directly from a game's website, alternative app store, or messaging platform like WhatsApp or WeChat. Basically, it's downloading a game from any source that's not an official app store, namely anywhere except Google's Play Store or Apple's App Store. And how sideloading works depends on a user's device. On Android, Google has always had a fairly open ecosystem, meaning Android phones are already set up to install APKs or Android application packages. That's not to say it's been easy though. Android users have faced multiple obstacles like complex security settings and warning screens known as scare screens to actually get a sideloaded app installed on their devices. Apple is a different story. iOS requires a developer certificate before installing an app. And since only apps on the App Store have this kind of permission, sideloading has been nearly impossible on iPhones and iPads. Users have historically needed to either jailbreak their phones or use a third-party sideloading software like AltStore. It's these kinds of hurdles to sideloading that have come into the spotlight in recent antitrust lawsuits and regulations worldwide. For example, the Digital Markets Act in the EU went into effect in March 2024, and it explicitly required Apple and Google to allow sideloading. For the first time, Apple is officially allowing sideloading, which is already live in Europe. This has allowed third-party app stores to start distributing their games on iOS devices in the EU. Like Epic, which announced they would be bringing the Epic Game Store to iOS in the EU and releasing Fortnite to these users too. Pivot to the US. Sideloading is also a focus in some lawsuits. In Apple v. Epic, for example, Epic's claim that Apple has a monopoly in the market was partially based on the fact that the platform prevented sideloading. Though the decision in this case only led to Apple altering their anti-steering provisions, another lawsuit, United States v. Apple, explicitly takes aim at Apple's prohibition on sideloading. The result of the Google v. Epic case did have a direct impact on sideloading, though. This lawsuit included a lot of discussion on Google's UX barriers to sideloading and their backdoor deals with developers to exclusively distribute their games on the Play Store. So, though Google technically allowed sideloading, they essentially prevented third-party app stores from competing fairly with a much worse user experience and anti-competitive dealings. In the final verdict handed down in August 2024, Google was ordered to ease sideloading by giving third-party app stores full access to the Play Store catalog, and they had to put an end to the exclusivity deals they had with studios. So what are the benefits of sideloading for developers? 1. Bypass 30% commission fees. Alternative storefronts offer significantly reduced commission fees. The Epic Game Store is 12% and the Microsoft Store is 15% for apps and 12% for games. Meanwhile, making your game available for sideloading through your own website comes with no fees at all, just your payment processors. 2. Access a niche user base. Third-party app stores have built up reputations with specific user bases, whether that's reaching users in a specific region like China's Tencent App Store, players interested in certain genres like the indie storefront itch.io, or players using particular devices like SideQuest for Oculus Quest VR headset. Since these stores have a niche audience that's highly engaged, discovery is far easier than on the crowded official app stores. 3. Avoid restrictive content rules. Apple and Google have strict content rules that sideloading lets you bypass. For example, Apple's store within a store rule prevents developers from offering other games in a storefront format within their app. 4. Create a direct relationship with users. Studios like Epic offer their game for sideloading directly through their website. Enjoy the benefits of a direct-to-consumer, D2C, channel. For example, getting access to valuable user data like email addresses for retargeting campaigns. If you're thinking about sideloading your game and need a strategy for monetizing your users, get in touch with us at Stash.